It's the hangout. It's not the live. Yeah, we're live. I think. Come as a friend. Stay as family. Don't worry. They can't hear us on this one anyway. Yeah, I missed out on that picture, man. I can't believe it. I went to a comedy show that night. Are we live for real?
Everything you're saying.
Did it hear everything else?
Yeah, you're like, oh, they can't hear us on here. Fuck them stupid motherfuckers.
Oh, that's gonna be the first time in all of Realm history that people were able to talk through the intros.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised all y'all wasn't talking.
I didn't know what was going on. What happened?
I don't know. Usually when that intro goes on, it mutes everybody, but I think
auto mutes usually.
Yeah,
we're not allowed to talk about it.
Regardless, anyway, we're here. What's up, everyone? How's everyone doing?
What's up?
Tired, long day at work.
Yeah,
long day at work for me too.
I had a long day of doing jack shit, so I'm pretty tired too.
Same here.
Hey,
long
right.
day of doing a goddamn
Me
thing.
too, actually.
All week.
It's been a slow work week for me because you know, usually Christmas holiday at my job is usually slow. Christmas and going into the new year, yeah, and then that first week of January though, yeah, that's when everything gets popping again. So next week is gonna be a killer.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to going back next week.
No,
11 days off. God knows what I'm walking into.
I'm gonna walk into a shit show for sure. What's up, Dave?
Hey, yo, you want us to entertain you? Won't you come in here and entertain us, Dave?
Dave's in the hospital.
Come on.
He's gonna do much entertaining.
Oh, he said, oh, that's right. He's still in. Hey, yo, Dave, get home soon, man. We're pulling for you, buddy.
Sorry you got a tube in your dick.
I have to go bye-bye because I'm promoting lung cancer.
Oh my god.
Remember, kids, there's
Ricky's
no hope.
been a bad boy.
You can grow up and be just like me.
So how was everyone's Christmas?
Too short.
It was nice though. It was nice.
It came and went very quick. This whole holiday season.
Story of my life.
Oh, probably a personal problem.
Got to watch that Glass Onion Knives Out movie on Netflix.
Oh, was it as good as the first one?
Huh?
Was it as good as the first one?
It really was. It was really good. I was really impressed with it. It's that because the Knives Out movies is basically a mystery comedy. Yeah.
That was the one with Batista in there, right?
Yeah.
No. Oh, the new one has Batista.
The new one, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The new one had Batista in it.
The first one had Captain America cussing like a pervert.
Right. Yeah. So I'm convinced that every Knives Out movie is going to have one member of the MCU in their movie. So that's got to be it now. That's got to be a trend now. So
this
one also had Edward Norton in it. He was in the MCU.
Yep.
Yeah. He's part of the Wave 1 or whatever it was.
Yep.
Yeah. Which they still won't include in. They won't include that in the Disney Plus, but we're not going to talk about that.
They don't have that Incredible Hulk movie on Disney Plus.
Nope.
So I still believe with the Hulk, that movie was.
It was Sony. It was Sony.
And they don't have the full rights to it yet. So
yeah, because Sony still has it. Sony has Incredible Hulk and Spider-Man.
They can use.
Is that why they used regular Hulk in the MCU?
Well, they can use him in a team ensemble,
but
they
not
can't
solo.
make a solo Hulk movie yet.
Got you.
Right.
It's
Right.
like these licensing things are so fucking weird.
Now, like when they do like the rights, I know this is gonna sound really dumb, but I'm being kind of serious. Like with the Incredible Hulk, is it you just can't have the Incredible Hulk, but you could have Savage Hulk, or you could have this,
I
or
don't
is
know.
it strictly what you just said,
I
the
don't
team
know.
versus the solo thing?
I don't know. From what I've read and been made aware of, Marvel can use the Hulk character in a team type setting, but they can't make his own movie, which is why we never got like a World War Hulk
Right.
or
Gotcha.
a Planet Hulk movie. They took adaptations of it, but they never made him his solo movie. I don't know if that's still going
It
forward.
was always a Hulk smash up.
No bad. You know, and Spider-Man, they had to make a separate deal for them to be able to make Spider-Man movies.
Sorry, these bad sticks make me mentally ridiculous when I smoke them.
Mhm.
Are you what did he always mentally imbecile or something?
No, mentally
He's-
ridiculous.
Mentally ridiculous, yeah. I remember.
I don't remember Sony having anything to do with Hulk.
I think with Paramount actually. I don't remember. I don't think it was Sony. I think it was Paramount.
It was one of them. It was one of those 90s things where Stan Lee was trying to keep Marvel from collapsing in on itself. He sold that
And
shit
that's when
to
they sold
everybody.
Everything was sold.
I remember that.
You showed up with a pack of gum and a $20 bill, you could have fucking owned Spider-Man.
Universal owned the distribution
Damn.
rights to Hulk,
You
not
got
the
in on that,
production
Chris.
rights. That's what it is. It's Universal.
Fox came in and got their shit. Universal came in and got their shit.
Yep.
Who's the other studio that came in? New Line
Sony.
Cinema. New
I
Line.
think New Line got a couple of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who did New
They
Line
got the
get?
Blade. That's
They had
Blade.
Blade movies.
Make good
Stan
Blade
Lee was
movies.
sitting on the couch and all these big companies came lining up behind it.
Mhm.
He wasn't sitting on the couch, man. He was sitting on a corner with a cup in his hand asking for spare
And
change.
then-
Yeah, Marvel was getting
And
ready
then
to
as
go
soon
out
as
there.
all that shit was over, Stan Lee went to go work for DC. And I was like, what the fuck? Yo.
But they all did that
was,
shit. Jack
that was
Kirby
a
did it
very
too.
confusing decade. So
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it saved Marvel, but it kind of hurt us with the MCU because
mhm.
there were certain things that they could not do.
And I mean, it sucks that they can't do it because of stuff like that. But in reality, if he hadn't have done that, it wouldn't have lasted. It would have all been done in the
Marvel
90s.
wouldn't have made it.
Yeah, we
That
would've
way.
collapsed.
They do what they gotta do to survive.
They
man.
did what they did to survive.
And you know who you can blame on the collapse of Marvel?
Who?
Fucking McFarlane.
Why?
Because him going off and doing all the individual indie comics and all that shit, making them a big deal, is what made Marvel lose so much fucking money.
What if Marvel made good
So
shit? that
basically,
people wanted
so
to
he
read?
did a better.
Well, if you're gonna
because
do,
he
if
was
you're gonna
doing a
blame
better
Todd,
indie product.
Well, I mean,
It's-
he was better at buying up cases of his own comics and stacking them in a warehouse and talking about they're the bestseller of the month and shit.
Yeah, but
I
that
thought he was gonna
that
bring it
has
back to their
nothing
figure
to
somehow.
do with losing viewership on your.
I'm
Hey,
blaming McFarlane.
You owe someone
if
a
you're gonna
dollar.
blame Todd, you can blame Jim Lee. You can also actually kind of blame Rob Liefeld too.
I blame all of Image, and I blame Ryfeld for man boobs in comics. What's up, Eric?
Can't hear.
What up, though?
I think
Eric
you
B.
muted. Oh, there we
You
go.
owe him a dollar. Pay up.
Come up off that buck.
Who owes what a buck for what?
What's up, dude?
What's popping? Y'all all right?
Mm,
We're all all right.
surviving.
Good stuff. Hey, man, don't let me interrupt the conversation. Keep it going. Sound like a pretty interesting conversation. Y'all ragging
Not really.
huh?
Not really.
We're talking about the rise, the fall, and the rise of MCU.
Yeah,
Well,
about how
Marvel in general.
about
Marvel.
Literally in that order. So
them kind of selling everything off in the 90s kept it alive, but it kind of screws us with our movies nowadays with who can make what and do what.
But
Oh, yes.
they're getting them
Put
back.
you in a trick
They,
bag.
you know,
Yeah.
they got most of the big.
Slowly
big
but
ones
surely,
back.
Disney gonna own all of it, dude. They are the Walmart of movies.
They want them,
They
and
own
I don't-
everything.
I don't blame
So with
them.
that
Can you
being
blame them?
said,
Yeah, I don't blame them either.
DC, what's your excuse? Because nobody bought none of y'all shit.
There is no excuse.
That's
the
not true.
problem.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was owned by Warner for a while.
Warner
they
Brothers
had the
just sold
property.
it to who? The Nature
But
Channel or
what-
some
what-
bullshit?
but
Discovery.
I think what they're
Discovery.
saying is they were all under. So it was also under one umbrella.
hmm
You didn't piecemeal it to a bunch of different companies. Warner Brothers bought all the titles. They had access to everything DC that they wanted.
hmm
Yeah,
As
eventually
opposed
they
to
got all that stuff.
Sony
Right.
got one.
But it was. But what I'm
Fox got
saying
one.
is, DC properties wasn't scattered about through
No.
different
Exactly.
different studios and whatnot. So,
But if
DC
you remember the 90s,
which was Warner Brothers.
but if you remember the 90s with DC, they streamlined. They went down to pretty much just the Trinity comic books and like pushed
Yeah,
everything
I
to
don't
the
know.
side.
I don't know if I agree with that. I think Superman was in one studio, Batman was in another, and who knew who owned the rights to Wonder Woman?
Well, I watched some weird documentary talking about Batman, and for the movie rights, everybody thought it was Warner Brothers because they made the '89 Batman and all the other movies. It's actually like one dude. Like he swooped in when the rights to the Batman like movie franchise went up, and he found out that they were for sale. Like they didn't really go into how he found out about it, but he bought it for like pennies on the dollar. So every time they make a movie or show, they had to ask his permission. It was like in the late 70s, early 80s. And Warner Brothers had to actually pay him rights to make the '89 Batman movie.
What I'm reading is, and I guess I got to go back and watch the original, well, not the original, the Christopher Reeve Superman.
Mhm.
That was
Yeah,
Warner
that's
Brothers.
what I'm looking at now.
I believe that was Warner Brothers.
Okay.
And I think so was, I don't remember, so don't shoot me. I think Keaton was also was Warner Brothers.
It was Warner Brothers, but they had to pay this guy. They had to pay this guy. They had to pay this guy rights to use Batman in the '89 Batman movie. It was crazy.
Yeah, but every DC movie made, had Warner Brothers had their hand in it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said, Warner Brothers, owned all the properties. It was just, it was just poorly done. I mean,
fine until they gave it to
I wouldn't say
Schumacher.
poorly done because back in the day, that's what we were getting, so we were excited about it. So
I was never excited for Batman and Robin, sir.
Huh?
Yeah, no one.
I was never excited for Batman and Robin.
No, I
was. I'm not even gonna front. As a teenager, I definitely was. I was like, okay, cool. Batman and Robin proper on the screen. I was.
To this day, I've never seen that movie.
I wasn't feeling Arnold Schwarzenegger.
You still haven't seen it at least once.
No,
that was the turn off.
You said you have not seen Bat Nipples?
And then they had the retarded ass Bane in that movie. I was like, yo, nah, this ain't Bane.
To this
Uma
day,
Thurman
I
though
still
was sex
feel
as Ivy.
Robin is a hard character to pull off on live, on the movie.
I don't think Chris O'Donnell did a bad job out of him. I thought it was written bad because.
Why do you think it's hard to pull off?
Why would he be?
I just feel, so if you look at the Keaton Batman movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first two, little, they had a little humorous side to it, but they kind of had a almost serious dark tone to it, right?
There was dark humor, yeah.
Dark humor. I don't feel Robin anytime Robin kind of takes away from that. I don't. Is there something about the character? And
he's very slapsticky. It's kind of his job.
Yeah,
the holy
so
Swiss cheese Batman.
It's hard to pull. I just think I'm not saying it can't be done. I just think it's hard. He's a harder character to pull off without making your movie feel stupid.
Campy.
Well, that's one of the reasons I think they switched him to Nightwing. I think that's one of the reasons why in the comics they switched him to Nightwing, because he was so slapsticky and stuff. You couldn't really do much with that. And that's why if you think of every Robin post Grayson, they didn't come in all slapsticky and shit. They started out serious and stayed that way. So they didn't have to switch him over to Nightwing.
Like you never got a Robin really in the what's his name?
Burton's movies?
Not Burton's. What's his name?
Nolan.
Oh, Nolan.
You had the tease of him coming, but you never had him in the suit with the tights and the skirt, which looks like a
but he was coming.
I mean, I don't think he was because Nolan was keeping his stuff very real world and very grounded, and having a little kid running around in neon yellow and green and red is not real.
Yeah, he wasn't a little kid in that movie though.
Yeah, it was what's his name that was playing him?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
His name Robin, and he got Bruce left him everything.
So he skipped straight to Batman.
You could not make a little kid Robin.
He skipped straight.
You can if it's Damian, I think. Damian's just a darker. He's just a
well, he's way darker, and you have the father and son thing. It makes a different feel to it.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't mind seeing Damon being who he is. Kind of gives you that more.
But that's why I didn't hate Robin in the Schumacher movies because they bypassed all that. I mean, dude was like 37 when he became Robin. Like they just bypassed all that kid shit. It's just I thought the movies were fucking dumb.
Oh,
I'd like to see somebody tackle the Red Hood. That's what
I would.
I would love
So
to
would
see
I.
that.
I'd like to see the Red Hood.
Well,
I think he could work if they keep going with these Robert Pattinson Batmans. I think
yeah,
he
I was
would
gonna
fit
say
that
in the
world.
Batman, that would
he
be a great.
He would fit in that world pretty damn good, I think.
I think Damian would be very hard. Any Robin would be hard from what we got from that movie to fit into that world.
Damian
I don't know.
would fit in that world pretty good too, I think.
But they'd have to bypass.
You need a big time jump.
A massive time jump for Damian.
Well, they could get around that by doing a flashback, like when he was first becoming Batman, his friend Jason was gonna do it with him, and blah blah blah, and they had a falling out, and then he becomes Red Hood instead.
No, we're talking about Damian. We're talking about Damian, not Red Hood.
But I'm saying either way, even with adding a Robin in, they could do the same thing because Pattinson they started so far back. It's year 2 for him.
All that works. I was just saying that if we were going to get a Damian.
Specifically a Damian, because you got to jump him all the way up into like his 30s.
Which, I mean,
massive time jump.
You could do that. You gave us your early Batman. You can now jump 10 years ahead in your next Batman movie.
But have you guys not seen Titans? You guys don't think that they can do a Robin in that vein?
I don't like Titans. I did not like Titans.
How they did Red Hood. How they did.
Hold on. That's not what I'm asking. I understand that show has mixed reviews, but I'm talking about Robin specifically. You don't think you can do a Robin in that vein in today's movies? Because Robin's pretty dark.
I like how they bypassed. I like how they bypassed the Robin, went straight to Nightwing, like that kind of.
But that didn't come into that didn't come into the second season. I'm talking about in the first season they had Robin.
That's true. When he was like kicking everybody's ass,
he was still wearing Robin stuff,
and he was saying "fuck Batman," and he was like "fuck Batman." Look, I don't say it, and I never said it can't be done. I said he's just a hard character.
No, I'm with you, and that's why I'm asking. Do you think? That's why I'm asking. Do you think with that Robin? Do you think
as a sidekick, the whole sidekick thing just kind of makes it hard?
Okay.
That's how it worked with Titans. Is they jumped to the very end of that. They jumped when he left.
As a solo, like Ricky said, solo split, maybe.
Yeah, like in Titans when he shows up. Yeah, like in Titans when he shows up.
That's what I'm saying. You could have the little flashbacks to it, or
them being Robin.
Yeah, they could talk about it and be like, "Oh, remember when I used to be Robin and what a little punk I was?" They could do shit like that. Yeah, but they would definitely have to do like Eric's talking about from Titans. Like the very first scene of Titans, he's already split off from Batman, so he's been Robin for years. He went through the slapstick sidekick bullshit, and now he's at the end of his rope and he's ready to be his own thing.
He's grown out of the role.
Yeah, I think being the Robin, like fucking 66 Batman Robin, is not doable in this day and age.
Why does your neighbor hate Robin?
I don't know. Remember, I'm on my phone, so I don't see all the comments.
Oh. Man, your neighbor hate everything.
I mean, sounds about right.
Robin the roadkill.
Why you hate Robin, dude?
I always thought Robin as a concept was good. That idea of keeping happiness in Batman's life, like Batman. I like that. Like it balanced the darkness in him. But
yeah, absolutely.
But Robin in conceptualization, like I said, yes, the green tights and like to me, I always thought that was fucked up. Of course, as a kid, I didn't think that way, but the way I thought it didn't make sense to me because here you are, you're dressing in all black and gray, right? And you're trying to hide in every shadow. And you take this little kid and you dress him up in bright red, bright yellow, bright green, and say, "Come hide in these same shadows, but be 5 feet to my left. So if they shoot at you and not me." That's kind of fucked up.
It also doesn't make any sense anymore, Ricky, to put minors on in situations like that.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So
you can't do that.
There's
really.
those 60s, they were a different time.
So DC recently did a new comic called Batman and Catwoman, where it's like in their future after they got married and Batman dies, he gets sick and dies. She kills the Joker. Dick is actually commissioner, and she's talking to Dick, and she's telling him that Batman put him in that outfit because he didn't want the Joker to look at him and take him seriously. That's why he wore those colors.
I mean, that's a cool retcon to fix that stupid
No,
story.
well, I'm just saying, like, this is, like I said, this is a new thing.
I don't know. That's kind of weak to me.
You know, and the newer and what's going on right now. Like, so it was a time jump. You know, Batman got sick and died, like, of cancer. I don't remember what it was.
He got canceled.
He
got canceled.
You say canceled or cancer?
Cancer.
Oh.
the first thing she did after he died was she went and killed the Joker. She literally hunted down the Joker. He was hiding as an old man down in Florida, and killed him. Of course, it's got to be Florida. And then their daughter was had taken over as the new Batman. Dick was commissioner. It was actually pretty good, the run. But yeah, she was talking about why he dressed Robin that way.
So the Joker wouldn't take him serious and
take him as seriously with the bright red.
I gotta be honest, that's a weak explanation. I think.
I mean, in reality, it makes sense.
Said about it.
It kind of makes sense though with Joker because because Joker only takes his jokes serious. He'd probably see a little kid running around in bright red and yellows and greens as a joke, but he wouldn't find it funny because it wasn't his joke.
Yeah, but it's
I mean, I can kind of see
what about everyone else? Not just the Joker.
Exactly.
Well,
after freaking Robin shows
Joker
that he actually has skills.
I mean, from what I have gathered from what I know of Batman, Joker is the one that Batman worries about the most out of everybody else. Well, that's why he, don't fuck the Joker. Please don't go after Joker. Don't Joker. Leave the Joker.
He's literally locked like Damian Robin in a fucking like cube so that he couldn't go after Joker. Like he's done. Yeah,
Joker is the most unhinged, and he knows that. I mean, out of every villain that he's ever come across, he could never really figure the Joker out. Mm-hmm. He never could figure him out. So he was the most unhinged because of that.
Right. Well, y'all know I'm a Batman. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, as smart as he was, he knew the only way he could stop him was kill him, and he was never going to do that.
Right. Very true. Now, I'm a Batman fanboy. All y'all know that. And I'm a Batman defender. Batman can beat Superman. Go fuck yourselves. Like, I'm down for that argument. But I also know in reality that Joker is the one character in comics where I can't say Batman's prepared for everything he does, because Joker wakes up every day not prepared for what he's going to do. So there's no way to be pre-prepared for what the Joker's going to fucking do. That's
the wonderfulness of insanity. You don't know what the fuck you're going to do.
If you ever act like especially when they turn Joker really dark, like in the 90s and up into early 2000s, when you look at that Joker, if you pay close attention, Batman's always reacting to Joker. He's never ahead of him. He's never pre-thought it, pre-planned it. Like, he will accidentally his way into, well, I figured out you were going to the amusement park. Yeah, but you didn't fucking know I was going to have piranhas full of Joker gas flying at your face when you got here. So, I mean, you didn't get it all.
Good point.
So, I mean, I always thought that was interesting, but it's also very frustrating because I want to be like, look, he's the fucking Boy Scout. He's always prepared. He's always ready for any fucking thing, but he can't be ready for Joker.
Hey, highlight Ricky's neighbor's last statement real quick.
Yeah, I never heard about this.
Anyone
Serious
know about
question.
that?
Didn't DC do a reboot or storyline where Batman was gay, or maybe they were going to but shelved it? No, they did one where Superman was, but thanks for playing. And by the way, I'm contacting the HOA. I don't appreciate your loud noise over there.
No, as far as I knew, they did a reboot,
but it wasn't Clark Kent for Superman.
I know.
Right.
I wasn't trying to get in all that. I know it was
what they made it out sounded to be though.
It was his son. Well, it was clickbaity.
That's what clickbait does. Yeah. That's what clickbait does.
It was like his son from an alternate universe or some nonsense, and he's not even gay. He's just non-binary or something. I don't know. Yeah.
And then they made Robin gay finally.
One of the Robins.
One of them.
And Tim Drake is
I think Tim Drake is also bisexual. Yeah.
Oh no shit.
Well, in Titans, he's definitely exploring. Spoiler alert: his gay side.
So in that Batman and Catwoman comic that I just finished reading, there's also a part in there where she's sitting there and she realizes that the Joker it's an act. He's not really crazy. He knows right from wrong. He knows what he's doing. it's just an act, which is when she really finally decided to kill him.
Makes a lot of sense. It tracks.
It was like I said, this is all jumps, a huge time jump in the future where they're old, and so you can't really take it as full canon.
Yeah, they don't necessarily have to follow that either.
Exactly. It was just like some interesting takes when I read it on how her recent observations of the Joker. Her reason.
I think it's cool. It makes
Robin
it makes as much sense as anything else.
E, are you still reading comics then?
So I do read comics online. I'll say that about comics. I have tried to be current. I think it's very hard now to be current. I just don't really like what's been coming out over the last few years.
Yeah.
Is anyone else on the show reading comics? Just out of curiosity.
New like modern release comics?
Yes.
No, but
every Wednesday.
Nothing modern.
No, not me. No, I'm reading back through comics again. I'm back into Death of the Family again in my Batman comics.
Old school.
So that's where I'm at.
I could never
get
into sitting down and reading comics. I couldn't do it.
I got I downloaded a file. It literally has every Batman from Detective Comics 27 all the way up until the beginning of the New 52 in chronological order, and I just pick a spot and I started there. Like I think I started after one of the Infinite Crises, at the end of the 80s.
How many gigs is
60 years? 60 years of comics?
I got them all, man. I'll show them to you. They're digital. I read them on my tablet. It was 4.5, I think.
It's not bad. That's a nice compressed file, bro.
60 years of comics, only 4.5 gigs. That just sounds low.
Because here's the thing: it's only the comics Batman. It's not like the only time you see like the Detective Comics or Shadow of the Bat or any of that show up in the comics in this thing is when it's a direct link to the arc that it's playing through. So it's not every comic Batman's ever been in. It's just his main line. Like, and I'm gonna tell you the one that still gets me every time, and people forget about it, is in the Detective Comics, the original 27. Not only did he carry guns, it was the first introduction of the Joker, and he killed him at the end of the comics. At the end of the very first Batman, he shoots the Joker dead in an alleyway. They retconned it later in the 40s to bring Joker back, and that still blows my mind going back and reading those things. Those things are wild.
You said that happened in 27.
The Detective Comics 27.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, the very first one, he shoots him dead in an alleyway at the end of the comic.
Yikes.
Yeah, Batman used to carry guns. I do remember that.
No,
Yeah.
everybody liked that Joker concept, and they redid it and brought him back and titled him the Joker. Like I don't think he was called the Joker in the first one, but even since way back then.
I'm currently reading the IDW G.I. Joe stuff.
Nice.
I started going through that.
Nice. I do want to read
2
that.
weeks ago. It's not bad. It's definitely different. It's different take than what we were used to with the cartoon. A lot darker.
I just bought the first. What did I just buy? The first trade they did with the Marvel Comics of G.I. Joe back in the day.
Mm.
I'm
Never read it.
School.
Never read it.
It's all right. It's not bad.
As much as Ricky is a Batman fan, I'm an X-Men fan, and I cannot read the current X-Men stuff. It is just so
it's rough.
bad.
What is it?
It's just bad. I gave up. I read House of X, Powers of X, where they did the whole, where they took them in their new direction. And
is that the one where McTaggart was resetting the timelines and all?
That's part of it. That was one of the part. That's part of it.
Oh, that's where she was reincarnated.
Basically, they got their own island nation called Krakoa.
Yes, I remember that.
Mm-hmm. Almost everything's happy-go-lucky for them now.
Did you read Legends at all? Legends.
You can sit there. There's no death. They're all getting reincarnated. Every time someone died, they can reincarnate you right away.
I don't think you heard you, Eric.
No, yeah, I heard him. I have not read the Legends stuff. I've been going back also, so I kind of stopped Avengers. So what was it? Avengers versus X-Men.
Great comic.
Great
comic.
With the whole Hope Summers thing. And oh god, what came after that?
Legends was really good though. It's a little more palatable to read. And only because they kind of give you so many, like they give you the fan service and they give you the callbacks back to a lot of the older stuff. And almost the writing style too of like a Chris Claremont, even though he's not involved in it. So it's a little more digestible for me at least. But I'm with you.
And I
I
don't
agree
like the
that some of
artwork
that newer
nowadays.
stuff.
I don't like the
Yeah.
artwork either.
Yep, that too.
I don't like the artwork. You know, it's
That
just I just
too,
don't
man.
like it. And that's it. Like when I'm reading a comic book, you know, the artwork is kind of important to me. You know,
It's
if
super
the artwork
important.
is bad,
Yeah,
if the
it
artwork
has
is
to be.
bad,
Because if
Shit,
not,
it
you
takes
might as
me
well
right
be
out.
reading a
Of
book.
course.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you
No.
can't handle the pictures, then you might as well be into a book. So the pictures are a huge part of it.
I currently
Agreed,
the most
100%.
current thing I've been reading is the DC storylines. That's like their take on
Oh,
Marvel
the zombie
zombies.
thing.
It's fun. It's a fun read. It's a fun read.
Deceased. Okay.
DC's.
Yeah.
It's a fun read. You know, it's its own self-contained thing. You know, it's almost over. It's been a fun read, but it's hard. I've been trying. I need to keep up with. I'm trying to catch up with the Batman stuff. I kind of stopped after City of Bane, in the new run ish, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. But I think even that's like a year and a half old, 2 years old now when City of Bane ended. So I'm a bit behind on that. But yeah, no, I don't know. I find it hard to keep up with comics, and I definitely cannot buy comics now.
What are books like? $3.99 now? $4.99?
4 or 5, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I tried jumping back
$4.99
in.
and up.
Yeah, I tried jumping back. I jumped back in like 2005, and then around, I don't know, a few years ago, I just couldn't keep up anymore. Like every 3 months, there was some huge company-wide event, and just like you had to buy everything to understand what was going on. And like $3.99,
Yeah, and that's
$4.99. Can't keep
That's
up.
expensive.
That's
Yeah.
another thing. You know when you step away for a while and you try to come back. I'm one of those people where I get annoyed when I don't know when something's now being referenced
Yeah.
or talked about and you don't know how it got here. Like, oh wait, how did Professor X come back this time? How did Jean Grey come back alive this time? How did this happen? How did that happen? And then you got to hunt down, and then you got to try to figure out what you missed. And it just becomes very, very overwhelming.
I agree with Joe S. Buying the trade paperback is just better.
Yeah,
That's
agree,
what I've been doing
1000%.
recently.
Yeah, I don't buy them at all. I'm sorry, I read them online. I go to
What I do is,
go to a free website,
And it's more cost efficient.
I read the
Yes.
digitals, and if I really enjoyed the storyline, I buy the trade paperback.
Mhm.
That's the best I can do for them now. I can't do that pools and going out to a comic shop once a week or once a month. I can't do all that shit no more.
Yeah, spending $5 to read a comic book that you finish within 5 minutes, and then you wait 4 weeks to get the next issue. It just I can't do that anymore. It just no. Maybe Netflix has spoiled me with the full stories right at once, you know, and the binge reading. And
I don't think that it's the money part. It's the money part that gets me.
Yeah,
like,
I'm with you, Ricky. I'm with you.
Like looking at those old, like I was saying, the digital comics that I have, they have like they've scanned all the covers and everything, so you can see back them old comics for like 47 cents and shit like that. You're like, fuck me, and they're $4.95 now, and they're half of them are loaded down with ads and stuff like that. Like it's not even a full comic anymore. And they do huge splash pages, which I'm not I like. They're fine when you have them every once in a while, but it seems like every third or fourth turn of the page is another full 2 pages of one big picture. So they're not even putting a lot of story into them as much anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, all the in-between stuff, like in between the big storylines, it just feels like fluff and filler to me. It doesn't feel like it matters.
Yeah.
No, well, yeah, but at some point, sometimes those are some you get some really good books in those filler episodes between big events.
Question. Yeah,
you know that's what's going to keep your line going. You know, and for a while there, X-Men didn't matter. X-Men, I loved almost every issue of X-Men that was coming out. You know, you go back to X-Men #1, that big cover, like they went strong for years. You know, through Onslaught and Operation Zero Tolerance, and you just keep going. And they had a little bit of lull. Then you had House of X, and then you got had just that whole era where with just 198 mutants left alive on Earth.
I remember that. Yeah,
was really really good. And then which branched into the X-Force, and Uncanny X-Force comics with Wolverine in the black and gray suits. Those are some of my
Him,
favorite
Deadpool, and
fucking books.
X-23.
Those two runs were, I fucking love them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then you got Necrosha and, you know, Messiah Complex and the Hope Summers thing, and then Avengers versus X-Men and the Phoenix Five. You know, they were going strong for a very, very long time, and then it just.
One of my biggest things that pushed me out of really wanting to get into paperbacks, and, you know, we're talking about those playing hard to play catch ups and all that, is those constant fucking reboots drive me crazy. Like
Reboots.
I mean, I remember when we were younger, like the Infinity Saga and like the Crisis on Infinite Earths, like all those were huge fucking things because they came out of nowhere. Superman dying, Batman getting his bat broken. They came out of nowhere and they fucked everything all up, and they had to work from that point forward. Now they're like, oh, well, we kind of painted ourselves into a corner in 5 months. Let's just fucking reset the whole fucking thing. Start the fuck all over again. So and so over in Blippity Blop land went to sleep and farted, and now the universe is reset. I mean, it's fucking crazy, dude.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point, Ricky. One of my main gripes when I was a DC guy, it seems like they're just trapped in this. They always want to stick to the Silver Age heroes. Anytime they make a big change of the status quo, it's only temporary, and then eventually, like everyone comes back. Any life changing thing is undone. It all goes back to a status quo, and it's just I don't like that.
Yep.
I want.
Why though?
Why is that?
They need the money. I mean, if they continue to kill off the big guys, they're done, and that's because there's a richness in those. Let's just take the big three, for instance, right? In DC, Batman, for those listening, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman,
the Trinity.
The Trinity. You kill all of them off at one time. What are you left with that can make you money? Not what are you left with that's a good story, because there's still some good stories out there. You got to dig for them. But what are you left with that's going to sell merchandise and comic books and T-shirts like and movies?
With opening up all the multiverses and stuff, they can kill them off. And like I remember, like Eric, we were talking earlier on Facebook with Mafex doing the Reign of the Superman and stuff. I remember we were all 1,000% sure there's no fucking way in hell they're gonna kill Superman and leave him dead.
Yeah,
and them motherfuckers kept
Superman.
But how long did it take them to get there though? They kept us on that fucking hook, waiting to see it happen for what, a full year, 2 years before they finally fucking flipped it around. Nightfall ran for 2 fucking years before Batman came back. I mean, it was.
You don't get.
They had it. They're dry. We were positive they weren't going to, and then after a few months of it, you're like, well, damn, maybe they actually are. But the stories kept us coming fucking back. That hope of seeing it happen, and when the payoff happened, those comics aren't great to go back and read now. They don't hold up well to the test of time. I mean, but they're good nostalgia stuff to read.
Yeah.
But when we go back now, I still get that anxiety. I'll break out. I got the compendiums for the Nightfall series. I'll break them out once a year or so and read them again. And I still get that anxiety. Holy fuck, is he going to come back at the end of this? Like, there's no coming back from that. Yada, yada, so on and so forth.
Listen, man, that's exactly why they did what they did. It gave you those feels and they can still get the money back.
Yeah.
But they didn't. But that's what I'm saying is that's how they did it then. Now they're like, they kill Batman today. Next month's issue, they're going to fix it. They're not going to let it drag out any kind of period of time.
And they have those funeral scenes where everyone's crying and boo-hooing. Like, I can't take that seriously because I know what they're doing. Like how many people, all you people in this room right now, raise your hand if you died and came back.
Everyone can't see me, but I'm raising my hand.
Everyone's going to raise their hand. It's like, why are you sad? Why are you sad?
You are not wrong, man. You are not wrong.
Yeah. I missed the question, Wolf. What was it?
No, we're talking about just
What up, Vinny?
Modern comics and how things just don't last. They always go back to status quo. We were talking about Nightfall and
but
that's the good stuff. I mean, what's up, Vinny?
I'm just saying we were saying that now they just speed back to that reset. Before they kept us out for at least a year or two, thinking they weren't going to do the reset.
But real quick, E, I'm sorry I cut you off, but I gotta get this point to this. The reason being, things are set up. Unfortunately, and I wish we can slow things down, but we're in a microwave generation, so everything is Give me this media. Okay, I'm done with that media. Now I need something else. And they constantly got to keep feeding this beast. And eventually now this is what you get. You get stories that are lackluster, that hold no meaning, that won't allow you to have that type of nostalgia, to allow you to go back and read it again 3 or 4 times because you're on to the next one. And that's what happens. That's exactly what happens. And this is exactly why you feel the way you feel about these comics now.
Look,
hold that thought, buddy. Hold that thought. Well, we'll get to this question in a bit.
One of the things that they brought up in here, who was it? Esteban brought up the reboot from Crisis on Infinite Earth to Infinite Crisis. That whole long gap was years where Barry Allen was gone. That was years between those reboots. Now he also brought up how Jim Gordon was Batman in the New 52. And within less than a year, they rebooted it to Rebirth. Like, it was no time at all. They don't think that modern comic readers, and maybe that's a thing, maybe it's a generational thing, like Eric kind of touched on it earlier, maybe Netflix has spoiled you to having the whole story now. Kids nowadays, maybe they don't have that patience to stay in the story to see what would happen. Maybe that's a thing. I'm not really sure how to verbalize that, but maybe being that quick information, instantaneous information on the internet makes them impossible to wait a year or two to see if their character is going to come back. But we grew up with that.
Yeah, people don't have patience anymore. I mean, if you go back and read old message boards, when someone died, they threatened to quit the comic immediately. I remember when they changed Superman's powers. It was like from the
electricity powers.
God. No one wanted to see it play out. Everyone was like, "Oh, you better change it back now, or I'm quitting." I get it. No one liked. I get it, but it was a story. Let it play out.
I mean,
a little patience.
There's certain. I feel like there's certain heroes, certain comic book characters that you just kind of don't mess with at this point. You know, Superman's one of them.
Batman.
You have your story arcs. That's fine, and you got to be patient because whatever happens, and you're gonna go back to that. Like you said, whoever said it earlier, you're gonna go back to the status quo.
Mm-hmm.
Wolverine loses his adamantium. Guess what? You knew he was gonna get it back.
And that was another big one. So you just touched on it real quick, but that happened. And then how many years did he run around with bone claws before they finally fixed it?
Ricky, that was a long time.
This is one thing I have noticed the difference between Marvel and DC. What was canon for X-Men from the very first X-Men issue is still canon now. Mm-hmm. They never did a 100% complete massive reboot. On their line. They more branch off into alternate reality lines, Age of Apocalypse, Ultimates, and then what happens? They find a way to roll them all back into the main 616 anyway.
All 616.
Reboots give new readers a easier jumping off point, but it gets frustrating at some point also. I get it. There's a catch-22 with that. So, it's good and it's bad. I remember when Superman, the first death of Superman was Doomsday. Oh my God, Superman's dead.
Dude.
Everybody ran out and bought those comics and
it made headlines in newspapers.
And,
they were talking about that shit on like national news. Like,
but you know what?
Yeah.
It didn't last long at all.
It went over a year.
Yeah, it lasted a nice distance, bro. Like at least 2 years.
But Nightfall went longer than that too.
Nightfall went 2 years.
A year is what? 12 issues. That's nothing.
But it wasn't just 12 issues because every reign of the Superman had their own comic.
Yeah, but you look. Yeah, if you think about a year in comics, ain't long.
And back then too, it wasn't necessarily monthly. Long. They had sometimes you were getting them every 2 weeks. You were getting comics too, so that might have been in that time frame too, because they would have a Justice League post Superman. They'd have all 4 Reign of the Superman post Superman. Like they had a bunch of comics all happening at one time. Now they're like, they kill Superman. It's only one comic and it runs in there for 6 months and then Superman's back alive. Like, and the whole time, like from comic number 1, they'll show you Superman being recharged. That's my big thing is they don't trust us to stick with it to find out. Like literally that first comic, as soon as he dies, like think of Justice League. As soon as they fucking killed him, they could not finish that fucking movie without showing you the rocks floating back up off his fucking coffin. Like they did not trust people to show back up to see if he'd come back around.
That's I think it's like what your neighbor says. People want the instant gratification.
Well, but
Man, fuck that guy. No, he's right.
But I mean, come on. I mean, if you've been any kind of comic fan for any amount of years, at this point, no one's saying dead.
Mm-hmm.
I do know.
We're not arguing that. We're saying,
and by doing it at the end of the Batman movie, like there's no cliff. It's not. Look, it's no cliffhanger. You know, we knew Batman was coming back. But you gave us the tease in the final 30 seconds, or you waited till the next movie. You know he's coming back.
We know that, but they didn't trust general audiences enough. Back then when we were kids, we didn't know that was going to happen. We had to wait and find out. But now they don't trust people to wait and find out. Now they got to tell him ahead of time. He's definitely coming back. Make sure you come for the next
you got to worry about leaks, and you got to worry about insiders.
About everything. You got to worry about all the nonsense. You know, the trolls.
Fucking Al Gore. Al Gore ruined everything by creating the internet.
It's the internet. Blame the internet.
It's Al Gore. He created the internet. Fuck that dude.
Blame the fact that people can now sit there and get on there and voice their opinions.
Yep.
And it becomes viral.
Mm-hmm.
You know, fucking message boards back in the 90s, man.
I would have loved to have seen people's reactions to
it all plays into it.
Empire Strikes Back.
Right.
After New Hope came out, what were the reactions to Empire Strikes Back?
I don't remember.
What were reactions to Return of the Jedi?
I don't know.
You know, you don't have, we know the reactions to every one of these fucking movies right now that we've seen, and you didn't have that, so that you don't know how people really felt. You got ticket sales.
Mama, I love you,
might
but
have liked it or not.
With that one.
But
sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I missed it. What happened?
No, he's just saying Optimus dying is an annual event like Easter with more Weird Al. I'm gonna need you to relax, guy.
Wow.
Oh man. No, I mean, but I think you're absolutely right, man. You got all of those things playing a factor and have shifted the way these companies operate, and we're starting to see the negative effects of them, or have started to see it 5-6 years ago with comics.
Yeah,
they just have gone downhill.
And I think Esteban touched it right there. He said the best comics today are in short runs that are self-contained. No one can write a 24 to 50 issue arc again like Grant Morrison Scott Snyder used to. And the sad part is that's not even that long ago. That's in less than 10 years. We flipped from the ability to go through a 50 arc comic to now needing those 5 and out. And they plastered on them like Batman Europa that came out a few years ago. They made sure you knew this was 1 of 4, 2 of 4, 3 of 4, like in big bold letters on each comic. You knew exactly when this story was over before you even started. Like it's crazy to me that it's changed so much. I feel like such a 90-year-old man talking about, well, back in my day, and talking about everything was better, but that's literally how this shit makes me feel sometimes. And that's one of the reasons why I try so hard with my kids. Like, yeah, they do new stuff and modern stuff and all that kind of stuff. Well, I was gonna say something fucked up. I was gonna say something fucked up, like I borrowed it from your mom, but I actually like his mom, so I'm not gonna say that because she's actually cool people. So, like, she's way cooler than he is. And she's really nice and sweet. So I ain't gonna say that to you, but I was thinking it. But with my kids, they do their new modern stuff, but I show them the old stuff too, so they kind of have a balance of the two. But I still see them struggle with it, even having literally since birth, having them inundated with our level of stuff. They still struggle with that because they walk outside my door and they walk into this world where everything is literally instantaneous. Like, I don't understand. Like, I had a whole conversation with my oldest first semester of school year, how he was struggling to write a book report. I'm like, how? Like, when I was a kid, it took weeks to do it because you had to read the whole damn book and go find supplemental papers at the library and dig through all these encyclopedias and to get all this information. I was like, now you just Google it and it gives you everything in like 2 seconds. How are you struggling getting this done? And it's unfortunate that that's affecting this stuff too. And ironically, kind of hypocritically, we as collectors are the same way. We order our toys now, Oh, I gotta wait 6 months for it to come out. Fuck you, motherfuckers! Give me my toy right now. Like we're the same way. We're just not about it with our stories. I
No,
guess.
I'll take it a step further. Once you get said toy, you got maybe 2 days with it, and some people are moving right on.
Yep.
Right on to the next.
Yeah.
Right on to the next pre-order.
It goes on a shelf and next one. Yes, it is, Eric.
Ooh,
That's his
shit.
That's his place. No. He's from up north. He ain't talking shit. He's from up north.
And I'm wearing a New York
I don't
Giants
give
hat.
I
You
don't
see
give a damn. He from up north. He need to stay down there with that.
All he asked you if
Oh,
it was
he
a
said
Pistons
the
hat.
Toilet.
No, the toilet Pistons is
Yeah, I
what he
see
said.
that now. Yeah,
Oh
I'm gonna need him to
shit,
relax.
Oh,
dude. Hey, Eric, you still got my address, right? You know he just lives next door. You come handle your business.
Listen, I don't like to give all my resources away, Ricky. Stop telling my business.
Come get him. You can crash on the couch after you're done.
Oh wait, he said he's from Detroit. He said you earned that right.
I don't give a good goddamn where you from, my man. She don't disrespect the home team. What type of fan are you?
what
I
kind of
mean-
fan is he?
Freaking
I mean-
Probably a
snowbird
Bulls
down there in
fan.
Florida, living up the life. Don't forget where you came from. If you don't get out of here with that BS,
Whoa! I need you to put a little more respect on Florida. He's not one
What
of
kind
ours.
of fan is he?
He's one of your
that's why I called him a
transplants.
snowbird. 'Cause that's
Don't-
what happens.
Snowbird.
All them people go down there for the winter, and then they end up staying because they like it so much.
Because the
Stay down
meth
there
is
with that
amazing.
bullcrap. I'm from Detroit. I earned the right. No, you ain't earned the right for nothing. You stay down there and mind the business to pay you, big fella.
Oh, look what you did. You fired him up.
Eric, hey, not you, Eric. Now this is gonna get confusing because we got like 10 Erics in here. But my
Really?
neighbor Eric, you better calm down because Eric B will bench press your ass. You better fucking relax.
Burner Spring and man,
Having a nice
first of
time. We gotta
all,
start shit talking. Come
I
on.
can't
You don't
talk. I
even
used to
claim
be a
Southwest.
Sixers fan.
No, he all right with me, man. If he could talk mess, that's good. You know he from Detroit.
Yeah.
We good at that.
Man.
So what
Now
was the
what?
question? Let me pull it up.
What do you mean now what? This is a hangout. There ain't no formula. Just start talking.
No,
Wolfie.
yeah, but no, this is
You
No,
want to go
what was
back
the
to the
chance?
original
Something.
question that the other Eric in the chat asked?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
There was
What
an
was
original question.
Yeah, that James Gunn one.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Opinions on how they.
I don't think they needed to recast everyone. I think they needed to
No.
just get their shit straight.
No, I'm sorry, I disagree. If you're doing a reboot, you got to recast. Because then
What does he mean by doing a reboot?
Casual. You're gonna.
They're
confuse
resetting the whole
casual.
DCEU. Like they've canceled it, and if they do
Oh,
anything in the future, it has
DC.
it has
Oh,
nothing to
movie
do with
line,
this.
Their movie verse.
I'm sorry. I thought he was speaking Marvel still. My
No,
bad.
Okay,
no.
So here, my worry is they're gonna Guardians of the Galaxy, the stuff that I
That's
love most.
Same. That is my concern. With
And
that
I
also.
love Guardians of the Galaxy, and I like James Gunn's movies, and I think he does a good job doing what he does. But I don't need him doing my dark, serious DC stuff. I don't need him doing that any more than I needed old what's his fuck face doing the multiverse of madness and making it a horror movie. Like I didn't need that neither.
Has he talked about his vision, anything yet? Do we know what his
Nope.
his
No.
Only
That's
thing
what
they've said so
concerns me.
far is everything's over. It's all
Again,
none of it's
everything's
connected.
over.
Suicide Squad, Guardians, Peacemaker. What is he gonna make it this shit?
Peacemaker's done too. God damn it!
It's all done.
Yeah.
Everything's done.
No, I'm
Everything's
just
done.
saying he was in charge of all that shit. Like,
Yep.
is that what it's gonna be? I don't want that.
Cena was amazing as freaking Peacemaker. I love that shit.
Anyway, moving on.
I don't give a fuck.
I enjoyed Peacemaker, but I don't want him to do that to Batman. I don't need him to do that
I
to
don't-
Superman. I
No,
don't
no,
need
definitely
that.
not.
Batman
not,
standing
no.
there cracking jokes.
No, at all.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
If
Never.
you want to know who's going to bring a
Never.
Robin into the DCEU and make him
It's gonna be
slapstick,
Gunn.
it's going to be James Gunn.
I don't want that.
I like DC being a little more darker,
Mhm.
Yeah.
a little more serious than Marvel.
Yeah.
I appreciate both properties. I want both to succeed. I want,
But for their
good
own
DC
different
stuff.
things.
Exactly. I want good DC stuff. But I am concerned with James Gunn turning this into slapstick nonsense.
Yep. That's a huge fear of mine.
I share that concern with you too, my friend. I share that.
Like, I think the Pattinson Batman, I don't care what anybody, some people like it, some people don't,
It's a
whatever.
good movie.
I'm not here to argue that point. What I'm saying is that feel, that vibe is a perfect spot for the DC. And Gunn's not going to let that ride
Well,
if
the
they let him
problem-
take full control.
Problem is that Batman vibe for that particular movie, I don't think it works for all of DC to go that dark.
No.
But
Specific to the character.
No.
Serious tone, a more serious tone for DC, and that is the one thing I can sit there and give Snyder a little bit credit for. Those movies definitely had a more serious, darker tone than the Marvel ones, and that's the one thing about that DC run of movies I did appreciate.
And I'm not even
gonna.
I'm gonna put on my cape and defend Snyder again because I don't blame him for the mistakes in the DCEU. I blame WB sticking their finger in every fucking step of the fucking way and changing stuff and making him go back and record stuff a week before it's supposed to fucking come out. Like that shit's crazy to me.
There's a lot to blame there. It's not only Snyder, it's Warner Brothers, it's a lot of things.
Dude, there's a reason why somebody's a manager and they're not a fucking line cook.
But you know what?
You let people do their job.
The people who wrote the script, I'm sorry. Doomsday should never been in that fucking movie.
At all.
Doomsday was whack.
Doomsday is the type of character and a story arc that deserved to have its own movie 100%. That's where you kill your Batman off.
Yep.
That's where you do it. You know,
you don't kill Batman. Batman doesn't die.
I mean, Superman. There should have been. You had Man of Steel. You had the Wonder Woman movie. I don't give a fuck. There should have been a Batman movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Leading up before you get into Batman versus Superman.
And we've kind of talked about that before. They were rushing to catch up to the Avengers money. That's what they want.
No, they were, but I'm gonna say that at least they did their best, and it made sense to put that Batman in where they did, still basing him off of what Nolan did because Nolan and Snyder were so tight. That Batman was a continuation almost of that other.
More real world and grounded.
No, you can see it. Like the Bat Mansion, the Bruce Wayne Manor, all that got destroyed, right? Well, they're picking up now. He's in a whole different location because the Manor got destroyed,
right? And
then you go back, like he did his best to try to cherry pick off of that. So I'm okay with that. If I don't get a full Batman movie, what I would have appreciated is if they would have did that Deathstroke Batman movie. That would have set the whole universe right where it needed to be.
But I think what EE was trying to say was they reversed it. They put the cart in front of the horse. They jumped straight into let's make it a Justice League full on everybody movie.
No. I got that point. I agree with them there, but I still don't think the Batman was an issue with that. Is what I'm saying. Like that.
I think not having
with or without a Batman movie, with or without a Batman movie.
What is it?
With or without a Batman movie, you still could have made something better.
Why'd you say that name?
What we got. You still could make something better. You take Doomsday out, you let it flesh out the Batman Superman saga for a second, then you figure out how to make it together. Bring Doomsday in later, and then you still got a better movie.
It didn't even need to be a Batman origin movie. I just still think we should have had a
Batman standalone,
a Ben Affleck standalone movie. Before we got to Batman versus Superman.
And I hated being called Batman versus Superman because let me tell you what, they bitch fighted each other for like 5 minutes in that movie. There's no Batman versus Superman. It was a misunderstanding.
Introduce this new version of Batman that we're getting. Give some background on what type of Batman this was. I just, like I said, it was all rushed.
I'm gonna push you a little bit on that. So, but why? So let's explain why you feel like you need. No. Explain why you needed a Batman movie in that sense.
So I think the version of Batman that we got in that BVS one didn't quite fit the normal narrative of who Batman, what we normally see. This Batman was a little more unhinged, so to speak.
Paranoid.
I understand Batman is prepared for everything, but this was a very almost proactive Batman. Like, we need to stop him now before he does anything. You know, Batman is prepared. Batman has a plan to take down every member of Justice League, but he don't use it unless he has to. He had no reason to really go after Superman, right? Why was he like this? Same thing, like this Superman, like this whole like wanting to go after Batman because he brands his victims. That whole it just
Now that
That
part
was a
was
little
dumb.
rough. That was.
I
A little
agree
rough.
with that.
Yeah.
That
You're
was
introducing a different version, and I don't have an issue with the versions that you introduced. But I think there should we had no real backstory into who, what, where, or why they were portraying themselves this way.
Yeah, it was a deep end. They shoved it straight into the deep end without letting us dip our toes in the water.
Always
I
have an
don't
issue
agree.
The branding was a little on the sadistic side.
Yeah,
I agree
and I
with
will
you
was
about
down
always
for that
have an
Superman.
issue with him
but
letting his father die.
I
don't
agree with
give
you
a
about
fuck
Superman. I don't
What
agree
his
with you
father
about
said,
Batman.
he would never sit there and watch his father die.
Agreed
Yeah,
on that.
I'm with
That
you.
made no
I'm
sense.
with you. Yeah,
And he would have
absolutely.
never snapped Zod's neck. I will fight that to my last breath.
I disagree.
I disagree.
Yeah.
I think Superman would kill before Batman.
You tell me what comic you've ever read and don't pull some off the wall bullshit. Normal mainstream Superman comic would make you think that he would kill somebody.
It happened.
He would have picked Zod up and flown him to the fucking sun and killed him that way before he fucking snapped his neck in front of a little kid.
I'm telling you, it happened. I read a story years ago. I'm talking like 80s, 90s. He killed 3. It was pretty much like what Zod. It was like 3 Kryptonians from another universe, and he killed them with kryptonite. He had no other choice. He killed them with kryptonite, and that affected him. That fucked him up in the stories. It was actually really good. I can see it.
But it was the snapping of the neck in front of the family with the little kid that's the part that bothers me.
I think Zod put him in a position where he had no choice.
He had no choice. I agree with
how does he not have a choice? He was impervious. We've seen Zod shoot him with lasers and nothing happened to him. So why didn't he just put his hands across Zod's eyes? That's literally would have stopped the whole thing. The laser would have gone nowhere because his hand would have stopped it. And then he doesn't kill him in front of a little kid. The family gets up and runs away.
You're trying to pull logic out of an illogical fantasy situation, man.
Why didn't he just do this? Why didn't he just do that?
Yeah. I'm an asshole because I'm the only guy who thinks that way. Blech.
Why didn't he just fly the car in the air? You guys ever seen
Hancock? There's a very simple answer.
Plot armor.
Derek got the answer. Derek got the answer. Hang on.
So with you saying why didn't he put his hands over his eyes? So he's too busy trying to hold him in place, to prevent him from turning his neck. So he's already using both his hands to prevent him from turning his body or his neck. Had he let go of Zod, he would have destroyed them. He would have destroyed the family that was in front of him. He would have obliterated him because he would have lost control of him.
I'll go with that.
You ever put somebody in a chokehold
He had
before?
no choice but to break his neck and kill him. He had to use the rest of his strength. You got to remember, they are equally matched when it comes to their strength. They're both from Krypton. So they both get their energy from the sun. So they both have the exact right amount of energy and their strength to combat each other. So yeah, he was put in a no-win situation with that whole move. So yeah, he had to kill him.
So why didn't he fly straight up into the air while he had to hold his head straight?
Okay.
Because I already know because he had to keep his toes crossed while he was doing it because they're equally powered. No, he could have flown. He could have done other things besides snap his neck in front of a little kid.
Why are you so worried about this little kid? He's alive. He fucking lived. Who cares? Oh no!
I just want to take time to point out that Wolfie is defending a child in a movie. He's excited.
I saved the guy's life, and now I'm traumatized.
It's the same thing when you're wrestling
day.
with someone who's holding a gun and you got their hand and you're trying to move a certain way. The minute you move a particular way, that gun goes off, and then what? So there it is. So it's all about movement and placement when you really think about it. So,
but if you can fly straight up in the air, movement doesn't matter. You could literally just fly straight up in the air with them.
Okay, so with him going up, what's to prevent Zod from putting his head down and actually beaming on him too? I would like to think that Superman thought about every scenario before he made the decision he made.
Nah, what if he had a fishing pole that day? He wanted to kill him. He would have went fishing. Hey.
So, right? What if he'd stayed home that day? I got you, Vinny. We're gonna fuck Ricky in his opinion. Fuck off. Next conversation.
Next topic.
No, but this Superman, like, to be fair, like, this Superman's still trying to figure things out, man. And he felt like he made the best decision he could in that situation. I can't say I wouldn't have made a different one.
No, I wouldn't have made a different one. I would have did exactly what he did. You know,
see, I think there's other options.
In the heat of it, you got to think of
that's
it.
the easiest option.
You're playing a Monday
Who
morning.
cares about the little kid?
First of all, he's not
Monday
okay. You keep trying to make Superman like he's Batman. He's
I didn't
not
try to make him. Why are we talking about this still? I already said Ricky's a dumbass. Why are we still talking about this?
He's not going to be in a situation where he's thinking about every. He's not a Superman is not a chess player when it comes to thinking about these scenarios. Batman is always 3 steps ahead of you when it comes to the different scenarios. So with him being in that situation and in combat like that, you got to remember, up to that point, Superman has never really had a combat situation, you know, with someone of his equal. So he has to be able to think about what's going on and, you know, what's going on in that moment with this particular person. So if he can't, you know, logically come up with a way to neutralize this guy, he's got to do the next best thing for him at that point.
Well, I'm just disappointed he didn't snap Batman's neck in BVS then, because Batman was trying to kill him too.
Why would he do that? Because he already saw Batman as not his equal. So he's gonna be like, well, he's using kryptonite against me, but at the same time, I can get around that, and I can sit here and try to get around that and still try to neutralize them. I'm not trying to kill,
but he's not a chess player. He's not going to move around it.
No, but at the same token, though, he realized that Batman wasn't an actual enemy.
Right.
He knew that.
Right.
He knew that.
He was using a kryptonite tip spear to try to kill him.
He understood that he wasn't necessarily an enemy. He didn't like his vigilante ways. He understood that they were kind of on the same side of things, but he wasn't a direct threat, a direct enemy to him. He just didn't like his antics. And so he figured, okay,
kill him.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And then also he already knew who Batman
was like, nope, if I don't kill him, he's gonna kill us all.
I'm with Brink. He should have just done it 5 minutes earlier. I'm only upset that he did it in front of the kid. I don't care about the rest of it.
That kid was traumatized anyway. Just why are you worried about this kid?
Who cares about the kid?
That's why I said like Brink said, if he'd done it 5 minutes earlier, none of it would ever happened.
You worried about that kid?
The kid will get over it. The kid's strong-minded.
You know what kid did he fucking thank him? Thanks, Superman, for saving my life and not letting me die.
And it wasn't just a kid. It was the entire that whole family.
I'll be okay, Superman. I'll go to therapy.
You need fucking therapy, Wolfie.
They make drugs. Worried about that kid. I know you're making me defend kids. Now I'm pissed.
Next thing you know, he could be talking about how much he loves Omega.
Omega.
What up, Don?
I know. Gunn said he's starting with a Batman story.
Oh, is he?
Superman. He's starting with Superman. Superman.
He should.
And the rumor is they're rolling Robert Pattinson's Batman into this new universe. Don't know how true that is. That's just what people are trying to report. We'll see. You know how these articles are on the internet. Who knows if it's true or not? I don't think that exactly. I'd be okay because I don't think the Batman was amazing, but it was a good movie. It was a good start.
Yeah,
exactly. It was a good movie. It was a good start to a new Batman.
That movie was awesome.
Let me give you a little bit of your flowers, EE, because you called that way back when I used to record on another show. You called me out and you was like, listen, I'm very disappointed in the fact that you won't get this movie a chance. And I'm like, nope, not my Batman. I'll catch it. Now I stay true to my word and said that I'll catch this as it comes out on like whatever DVD platform it did. It came out on HBO Max. That's when I watched it. But you were absolutely right, man. And I want to give you your flowers for that. So kudos to you.
Yeah, which movie?
No, it was like I said, it's not my favorite Batman movie, but I thought it's a good start off. It's a good jump point.
And you said you thought it was worth a shot. Like at least give it a chance. And you were right.
Hold up. Again, which movie we talking about?
The Batman.
The Batman.
Oh, the Batman.
I mean, a lot of people were hung up on him being Mr. Twilight and he's sparkly Batman, but I
was one of those people.
Heath Ledger did a lot of movies before he did the Joker. Ben Affleck did a lot of movies.
Michael Keaton did Mr. Mom right before he did fucking Batman.
So I don't, I wasn't against Jared Leto being the Joker when they cast him. I was against what I saw once it was done.
Yeah.
Once it was done, I had an issue with it. When they casted him, I was like, all right, he's a bit of an eccentric dude. He might be able to play the part.
He did play the part. He didn't write the part. He played it.
Exactly. I think he played it well. It's just not his fault that's the version and direction.
That's the Joker they asked him to do. No, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you. That's a good point. That's a good point. Because Jared Leto's not a terrible actor.
Heath Ledger blueprinted the Joker.
Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
Very different.
For that time, that was. But
even now,
Heath Ledger actually, brought out the dark Joker.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Nicholson was
this is an argument that everybody makes about that one being so dark, and my rebuttal to that is just simply this: I'm going to just use two examples against each other. You want me to show you a magic trick? I can make this pencil disappear. Do you remember that scene in your head?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
He does the pencil down. He goes to slam dude's head on it, and it cuts. You never see it happen. All right.
That's not his fault.
Hold up. That's the dark Joker. Everybody says it's dark. Now let's flash back to 89 Batman, where Jack Nicholson takes a joy buzzer and fries a guy all the way down to skeletal form on camera. And you tell me which one's a darker, more murdery Joker.
So now I'm a playing that Joker for the
like the
director's way he does things. Like
breaking up,
that doesn't make sense, Ricky. That doesn't make sense. I'm gonna blame that Joker.
No, I don't blame. I'm saying I think Jack Nicholson.
No. I'm gonna blame that Joker for his lack of darkness because the director said, "Cut. Let's put this way." Oh, that's dumb. And
how's that dumb? You can't. I just showed you two exact examples of one being darker than the other.
Because that was in the 80s in the Tim Burton Batman, Jack Nicholson Joker. That was probably the only dark thing you saw that Joker do.
And
you saw
cracked a joke and laughed. He was cracking jokes and laughing the entire time.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I love Nicholson's Joker.
Me too.
The Dark Knight Joker
a lot more
was doing that shit through most of the movie.
His version than
I think Ledger was a more psychological Joker. I think he was more psychological. I don't think it was a more darkly portrayed Joker.
Oh, geez.
That came off funny when he turned him to a skeleton.
I think Heath Ledger Joker checked all the boxes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay. It's okay. We can just name this hangout. Ricky's wrong. I mean, I'm used to it at this point, but I will argue that point. I'll argue that point. I don't think Ledger was portrayed as a darker. I think he's a more psychological Joker than Jack.
What Ledger was missing was
violence.
A little bit of the jokes that Nicholson told, because Nicholson was cracking one-liners a lot, which is what portrays him, which was what makes him seem less dark, because he cracked some.
And that Joker, as Nicholson's Joker, he was more the gangster. Like that was his role. That's how he played. Like he was a mob boss to an extent.
Right.
This Joker, as Heath Ledger, was a psychopath, and that's why people think that he was dark. And that's
psychologically, I believe. I'm saying psychologically. I'm saying the portrayal wasn't.
That's where the darkness was, though, and that's where it was. I think you're missing the point that people are saying. I think you're missing with the point. I think you understand.
I wasn't missing. They literally say he's the darkest portrayed. Yeah, that's right. We leave that one up.
No, that's true. He is the darkest portrayed because of everything that he played out from that sense. You know what? Never mind.
Yeah, I'm at the never mind point too. You're right. I'm getting a ledger tattoo next.
Hey, yo, if you get one though, make sure it's the one where he's falling off the roof. So
it's gonna be on my ball sack. He's gonna be falling off my
one next to it. You can have them both on your back.
One on left nut, one on the right nut. You're gonna put on my ball sack.
Hey man, you get long in the tooth, them things gonna start dangling in a minute, man. You better be careful.
Too late. That water's cold, bro.
I'm hoping that they do roll this Batman into this new DC stuff. I would like to see a new Wonder Woman movie. Do the main three. Give them their own solo movies to start like you're supposed to, and build off of that.
Don't let Patty Jenkins write it.
Yeah, build off of that. I did like Gal Gadot. It's a shame.
Yeah, I thought she did good as Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna miss Momoa.
This shit happens.
I like to miss Aquaman.
Aqua, bro.
Yeah, whole the surfer bro dude thing just bugged me.
You think he would be better as Lobo?
I don't like the.
I think he would have been much better as Lobo.
You think he
would?
Yeah,
he'll be good as Lobo too. Yeah.
I think he would have been much better as Lobo.
He can be both.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
he can't be Aquaman is
in
done,
multiverse.
so he can be. If they want to make him Lobo now, I mean, we'll see if they want to pull an existing actor from this new travesty of movies that we've had already.
Tragedy.
Well, look, man. Look, I think when you do a reboot, fucking reboot.
Do you think it's too late?
Too late for what?
To save any of this?
The current version of the DC universe?
I mean, DC. I'm talking about the cinematic universe in general. Is it too late?
The current version with the Batman versus Superman, that version that we've gotten so far. Yes, I think it's 100%.
I'm not. No. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about everything. Is this going to work? Is this going to revive interest? Is this going to?
You can, if it's done well. Yes, the fans will go. If it's done well, they're going to see it.
I'm just looking forward to seeing Henry Cavill as Captain Britain. Just saying.
I'm down with that too. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, I can't wait. Can't wait. Excalibur, but then they can't do Excalibur without introducing the X-Men first. So, but doing Captain Britain in some form. Yeah, I can't wait till I can't wait till he come on the scene and start doing that. But yeah,
give him a bigger role.
Act together when it comes to X-Men too.
I do like him as Cyclops too. E. That's a good. That's a good
give
call.
Him a bigger role. Henry Cavill's a really good actor. Now, whether he might look too old to play Cyclops, depending which way they go, I don't know. But I mean, why you give him Captain Britain? You're gonna get him what for one movie?
Nah, because what you're doing is taking an obscure character that ain't that popular. You're gonna make it popular in MCU. Look at all the other characters that weren't really popular, and they're bigger than life right now. You had Wanda, you had Vision, you had all them characters that you never really heard about or even talked about. Not even heard about that you never really talked about outside of Iron Man, Captain America, and.
Even Iron Man had kind of slipped back out of the A League
I think you're forgetting. X-Men is a different beast than Avengers, man.
No, it definitely is.
When you're talking X-Men characters, people are going to really, really be expecting certain characters to be there. I'm not against an Excalibur movie, but I'm just saying I would rather see Henry Cavill in a role where we'll see him more often. And that would probably be as part of the main X-Men cast, one of those versions. Like
now he's supposed to be doing. Was he supposed to be doing Warhammer now?
And while we're talking about X-Men cast, I'm sorry, but we need a new Wolverine at this point.
Look, I'm hoping this you're gonna get this Deadpool 3 with Hugh Jackman, and that's fine. Yeah. Everybody wanted to see Hugh and Ryan do one movie together.
I think that's it. That should be his last hurrah, and we should get a Wolverine.
I agree. They're already. I saw earlier that Famke Jensen's supposed to be coming back.
This motherfucker just said Harry Potter. Y'all had the fucking nerve to yell at me about the Joker shit and let him say Harry Potter should be fucking Wolverine.
I'm not being serious. I've seen the fan art. Of him dressed as Wolverine. I don't like it. But I don't want them to be recasting any of these old X-Men characters to come back for new ones.
Me neither.
Didn't you share the article where they're bringing?
Where I share the article where they were told where there's a rumor that Jensen's coming back. And I'm sorry, it's like, oh wow,
that heifer should have never been Jean Grey.
The X-Men movies were a travesty.
Famke Jensen,
they were a bomb. How can we make it better? Oh, I know. Let's recast the same actors from the bad movies the first time around. That's what it looks like they're doing, and I don't want to see that. I'm very
but I got one exception to that, and the only exception that I have to that is because you don't have to now where you're at. You don't have to start over with like origin stories and stuff. Leave Patrick Stewart as Professor X and build around
I
that.
don't know, man.
I'd be okay with that.
Look, one thing I will say about the X-Men movies, I have enjoyed most of their casting choices. I think a lot of the guys that they cast really worked well, from Fassbender to McKellen to Stewart to Jackman to
Fassbender was damn near perfect.
To Kelsey Grammer was a great fucking beast. You know, like I think they've done a good job with their casting. The movies have fucking sucked, but that's a whole nother story. And with that being said, I don't want to see any of them back. None of them. I want you to start fresh. I want you to do this right the way Fox never fucking did.
Yeah. So basically, you want him to James Gunn that shit.
That's a callback, y'all.
All right. So who? Okay. Let's put it out there. Let's do the casting call. What's the casting call for X-Men?
I don't know, man.
He wants Carlos Esposito as Professor X.
Look, let's not do that tonight. Let's not do that tonight.
Wait. Did you say Jade Cargill Esposito as Professor X? Yo.
Jade Cargill is Storm.
Well,
yeah, I'll get behind that. I'll get behind that. Yeah.
I'm willing to mute myself to hear EE's rant about Carlos Esposito playing Professor.
But she got to work on her accent though. Jade Cargill, she got to work on her accent though.
Which one is that?
She's in.
Jade Cargill is a wrestler.
She's AEW wrestler.
I don't know what she is.
I don't know who that is.
AEW.
What is her name?
She's fine.
Jade Cargill.
Jade Cargill.
Oh,
she is fine.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, let me.
I'm not touching this tonight. I'm not.
Vinny, are you in a different room?
Listen, you smart.
No, I'm just moved everything around.
I'm not going there tonight.
Okay.
Keep it moving.
Yeah, there's a giant bookshelf
actor.
on the wall behind me.
I will say that. There's a role for
shitters
him
over there, and
gotcha.
But it's not Professor X.
Yeah. Couch is in the corner all the way over there.
Gotcha. You moved everything around. It just looked different. I looked down. I was like, "What the hell? All these colors and stuff."
My computer is in the corner. Usually my back was to like this other wall over here, but
gotcha.
I moved everything around. I needed a little bit of change, you know.
Gotcha.
So I got a question for Ralphie in the chat. Do you think Falcon and Winter Soldier played into identity politics? Because I'm just saying I don't, but I hope.
Let's highlight Ralphie's
that's
comment,
not what
please.
you mean by that.
Gentlemen, that's Jade Cargill.
Nope, that's not.
Yes, sir.
She could be Storm.
Yes, yeah, that's what I said. Storm.
Yeah,
greatest Storm. Yeah,
she worked as Storm. Yeah, man.
No, Professor X.
That's the problem. That's where you guys. That's the problem now.
She could be Jubilee.
That's gonna be Beast right there.
Yeah.
Fucking Wolfie is on tonight.
She is
man.
a beast.
No, I mean she could. I mean, I don't know. I don't.
Yeah. All right, now put your lotion away. She's going away.
I cannot sit there and talk about the acting skills, but she definitely with the hair and everything.
She got the look.
Straight hair.
Oh, she
definitely got the look for the part.
She just got to work on the accent. You know,
it was like the '90s punk version, like where she had the spike mohawk.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen,
and all right, so hold on, wait.
What's up, guys?
What was that whole thing about identity politics again?
So Ralphie posted. I think it's too late for all of these hero movies. The agenda pushing, identity politics, and stuff have given people hero fatigue. So I just wanted him to elaborate a little on that as to what he means by that.
I know exactly what he means by it.
I mean, he got a point.
because representation is such a big thing in every community right now. That's what's actually, and I hate to say it, you know, because I don't fully agree with it, but I hate to say it. It's what's killing the fandom right now because everybody wants to be represented. Every faction of every person wants to be represented now. You know, as they come through their walks in life. So, and that's what actually, to me, that's what killed the CW DC series altogether. You know, because that was all going on. So it was just like, okay. And then I got a headache from having to experience all that shit. Supergirl alone, that one really just went overboard with every aspect of that. So, look, but yeah, and then you're right, Esteban, you're absolutely right. But at the same time, look how low key it was. At the same time. It was
no.
from the 90s. Yeah, it was
X-Men from Jump Street was all about being different than the world around them and having to fight back against that.
X-Men has always played on the racial
major role in identity.
No, I'm not even talking about race. I'm talking about sex. I'm talking about sexual identity.
It was there.
That's the major thing right now, and everybody's on their heels about that right now.
X-Men was always a little more ahead of the game with all of that stuff. They've had their game. They've had their different characters from, they played off the race card thing the entire time. I don't know, maybe race card ain't the right word, but they played, they
the genetic card.
Yeah. Used, how do we, the social commentary of racism in America. X-Men was your representation of that. They were hated because they were different for no other reason.
Actually, like a comment Ash Bailey just put up.
They've had their gay characters. They've had not as much as they should have, but a little bit more than a lot of other Marvel has done. And I'm gonna touch on this real quick. We talk about representation and things like that. When race swapping a character to me isn't representation, you cannot sit there and talk about representation when we don't have a Miles Morales movie yet. You want real representation? Give me Miles Morales already.
Yes.
We did have one.
No, you had an animated. I'm talking about in the MCU.
But even still, it was still represented.
Yes, but
what he's saying, he's referring back to the Professor X thing. I think is everybody was saying that's a huge.
The movies here, the particular MCU. People talk about the representation of the MCU. Where's my Miles Morales already? Give me Bishop, give me Storm, give me the characters that were made and historically like they're supposed to be before you start swapping and race swapping and gender swapping when you have great characters that have been written over the years that we still haven't gotten yet.
Okay, so then if that's the case, you want the original Nick Fury then?
No, see, here's the difference, and there is a difference. You want to know why?
Two different characters.
It's comic accurate, right? There's two Nick Furies. I have no problems with Sam Wilson's Captain America. It's great because it's comic accurate. That's what I talk about. That's what I complain. I want the source history to be comic accurate. You had white Nick Fury, and then you had your black Nick Fury in the Ultimate Universe. Yep. MCU has always felt a bit like the Ultimate Universe to me to begin with. I had no problem with them casting Samuel L. Jackson. It's comic accurate. So whatever story you want to pull from, that's fine. It's comic accurate. So there's no complaints about it.
Okay. No, I was just trying to make that point because both versions of Nick Fury existed both ways.
And I'm fine with whichever version you pull from.
Okay.
But this is a topic that I think this year has been the most prevalent talk about this type of topic. So let's address where we're coming from versus where we want to be. Where we're coming from. Picture it. New York, 1930s. It's all run by dudes who look like they're from the cast of Mad Men's Back Alley. They all smoke.
Right.
They all want to get their print, their rag, on the newsstands for the kiddos to buy with their good-earned nickels. And they're all white. And they're all old dudes or young dudes or dudes who are literally just trying to make a nickel themselves because they're all working for Marvel or Direct Comics. Okay? So now we have characters that are built on the principles of the American way. You've got Superman, hero of all Americans for the red, white, and blue. You've got Marvel with Captain America, the white bread of American society. You've got femme fatales with boobs out to nowhere because that's what gets those kiddos. Okay, now fast forward. You're at 2022. You've now taken your cast of characters from 1930. You've run for 60, 75 years of those characters. Because you've gone through all the plot lines, all the stories, all the kryptonite, all the colors of the My Little Pony rainbow of superheroes that you could possibly think of. So, where do we stand and where do we want to be? Where we stand. Are we a more multicultural world? Yes. Part of it is the internet. Part of it is the 80s, the 90s, the 00s, the 10s, okay? We have a lot more representation in characters. Why is that? Because we have kids that have grown up on this stuff. They got tired of seeing white as their color. They wanted to see those representations. We've got writers of various ethnicities that want to see characters of other colors. But when we go back to try to change those characters that were originally US of A white, now we have the problem of, well, it's not exactly to code of what the character originally was. But it's canon because it's now printed in a comic that has the DC or Marvel logo on it. So where do we want to go? We want more inclusivity in our characters, but we also want is more originality. You guys have been talking for the last last hour about things, events like Crisis, like Days of Future Past, like all the X titles, X Verse, X Expanse, Life Without Scott Summers as Cyclops, all of it. It's great to bring your universe crashing down to retcon everything so that you can have that inclusivity. The problem is that as writers, I feel like in terms of the houses, both Marvel and DC are faulting at that finishing point. Marvel had a whole plan for the last 10 plus years with their phase of movies, their integrations. It was all great. And of course, COVID happened and it came crashing. DC never had a beat on that because DC was always run by the same cabal of people who still had that same old stodgy, we should just throw superheroes at the wall and see what sticks. And the best that we ever were able to come up with was a Tim Burton movie. Tim Burton, the dude who wrote Nightmare Before Christmas, who wrote every last Helena Bonham Carter movie script, coming at you with a movie that nobody expected that was so big because it hit us right in that sweet spot of our 20s, and we were able to follow it along to that wave. And now we've got 15, 20 years worth of movies under our belts now. We've gotten Lord of the Rings. We've gotten big blockbusters. We've got stuff that we never even thought we would see on screen.
Yeah.
That's fantastic, but now we're burnt out. So the question isn't about why should we see these characters in different colors and different hues and different cast as different people. Or heck, we could have a whole movie cast by Samuel L. Jackson because I'm sure he could just do all the roles himself.
More than likely.
What do we honestly want to see out of our superhero movies? Do we want more originality? Or do we want retcons of storylines that we've already seen to fulfill our nostalgia valves? Because I don't want that anymore. I've gotten all my nostalgia out. I'm good.
Yeah.
My shelves say so. What I do want is I want more original stories. And yeah, honestly, some of them are going to flop hard because that's where their comics were. There was a reason why comics were dying less than 15 years ago. They still are. And it's not because print is out. It's not because the internet. It's because you can't capture somebody's authenticity, their imagination with unauthentic material. You can't just keep retconning your stuff with world is ending. Let's create a new universe out of and mash up everybody.
Right.
You need to be able to have and it can't just be the churn, because the same thing happens with sci-fi novels. I've been reading sci-fi for 40 plus years. I've seen The Grinder, Piers Anthony, you name it, Mercedes Lackey. They take it to an organ grinder and they grind up the stories and hope that they sell a book out of it. The same thing is with our superhero stories, our big events. And it doesn't matter what artist you attach to it, because you get all these actors and whatnot. That's great. You just means you pay them. But what do we want? What do you guys want? And that's the question. What do you guys want out of your superhero movies? I want
a quality story. That's all I want. I want a quality story.
A quality story, right? Yeah, that's what I want too.
Yeah, I had this conversation with Derek in one of our meetings that we had, And I told him, and again, I'll reiterate here because everybody can hear now. Is I said again, I'm speaking only from where I can speak from. You know, my life. You know, people can make judgments based on that by looking at me or talking to me, but that doesn't mean you've been there. But what I can tell you is, I told him, I said, if I was a black male, I would not feel taking Superman and recoloring him black represents anything for me. That's not showing representation for me. Because you did not have any idea of you're doing the bare minimal to just make me shut up about not having representation.
Right.
I want a new character. I want a Blade. I want a Static Shock.
Wait. Let's pause for a second. And I'm happy about your opinions, dude. I think I know where you're trying to go with that, but at the same token, and this is no offense, you aren't black,
right?
So,
but I am Jewish. Name all the
you
Jewish
are. Hold on, but we're talking about black, right? So let's stay there for a minute. If you can create a version of Superman like they did, and give him an original story like they did, then that is also okay. As a black man, I can speak on. I'm okay with that. Because
okay,
and it's possible to
you're
do
right.
that
You're right, and I was
yes.
misspeaking. I don't mean Superman. I mean Clark Kent. Making
but
Clark Kent black is not the same thing.
But
that's
if
what I meant.
It was possible.
You're right, Eric. I didn't mean because I know which one you're talking about too. But that was his own character. He just happened to also be Superman in that universe.
Correct.
What I mean
if it was possible with a good story, would you watch it, Ricky?
Would I watch it? Absolutely. Would I think it was a great idea? No, because to me, again, let's reverse it to where I'm shooting from. If you just woke up one day and go, oh, by the way, Black Panther's Jewish. Why? Because we don't have enough Jewish characters in comics. I'd be like, get the fuck out of here. You couldn't have made up one single character that just also happened to be Jewish and just give him his own story. You had to take something that pre-existed, slap my name, my people's name on it, and say, well, now just be happy with it.
But this is also, and this goes back to something else that does touch base on what your favorite fandom is, Ricky. Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn was an original character that was written for an animated show out of nowhere. Was not in a comic. Was written in for a show. And then became one of the most popular characters out of DC's cadre of characters, enough to earn her own movie in the long run.
Okay.
Can an original character be created, and can a good enough story be written for that character?
1,000%.
Yes.
1,000%.
So okay. This is also where Hollyweird also meets to what we want. Because Hollywood, they will just throw in characters for the inclusiveness of it.
Yes.
Because they want to show that as a company they're diverse and whatnot. That's great. But again, how would you sell that impetus? How would any of you sell that impetus to say, well, okay, this is a character that has a change in them that's big enough to be noticed, whether it's their skin color, whether it's their ethnicity, whether it is where they're coming from. It doesn't have to always be a political thing. It doesn't always have to be an inclusivity thing. You can say, this is an alternate timeline. This is an alternate, because those things do exist. Do you have to bring your world crashing in order to retcon all of that? No. But we know they exist because they have written stories with famous characters of color, famous characters of different descent. And Seven mentioned it before. I mean, I could make the argument for, there's not enough Puerto Ricans in the MCU. I mean, again, this is where what we want, what we like to see needs to be good characters, preferably original characters, but with good storylines.
Good stories, yeah.
Dormammu, can I ask you a question?
Shoot.
I'm just reading a comment from 7X. He said a Jewish hero would need to be written by a Jewish person. How do we feel about this? How do we feel about this?
I don't know if it had to be directly written by, but at least having them on staff for again, if me personally, this Riggy that you guys know, was to sit down and decide that I want to write an African American superhero, I would 1000% reach out to Eric, because he would have a voice that I would not understand, because we did not, even if we grew up in the same, and he lived down here in Florida, and we grew up in the same PJs in Tampa. We led that same exact life. He would still have a different voice of it. And that voice will either show through very false and very flat, or it'll show through very realistic and solidly. And that makes a huge, huge difference. It doesn't have to be a Jewish person writing it, but you better have a Jewish person around to help you get through that writing.
And I can't support that. I'd say, like,
that. Hold on, let me say this.
Ahead,
I can't support that because, it's like, getting back to his comment. No, that's absolutely correct. It should be written by a original Jewish person. That's like somebody writing a movie about a white guy writing a movie about black people. It won't work, because that guy doesn't have the experience. He hasn't lived the experience of a black.
That's when they say I use.
That's what I just said.
So
that's what I said. I'd reach out. And
because I heard you say you would consult with Eric. But that doesn't work. That doesn't work either. Because what happens is you can consult with them all you want, but the studio that you report to, they're going to see your thing and cause you and make you make changes. They're going to possibly
it's a possibility, Derek. But I mean, he is right. I would, if he wants to write a story about a black person, then the best way to get the information you need is to talk to a black person, so you can
that, like, as a partner, like a
and
partnership.
live amongst them if you could. Yeah, like. Let them be a consultant on it. I'd be okay with that. If a black person's not writing the story, then you better make sure you got some very good input from a person who's been through it, and that's okay.
It's not even just being through it.
That a black person, a white person should be able to write this. I mean, heck, they do it all the time.
I think it depends. Sorry to cut you off real quick, Eric. I just think it depends on what type of story you're trying to tell.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's different. That's different.
Yes.
That's different.
Yeah.
Like,
and for that, I'd submit Ms. Marvel, because if you look at the series and how it was written and the people that worked on it, it wasn't like, oh, we did our research, we did this, we did that. They actually, the writers were writing from their own personal experiences as Muslim Americans. If you're going to play off on the culture, the history, like in your movie, then yes, you need that.
Input.
But like if you're writing a movie like Blade, I'll give you the first Blade with Wesley Snipes. It didn't matter who wrote that. It was a movie about a vampire. So it didn't matter.
Just happened to black.
If you're, like Black Panther needed to be written by who was written for. I said, I think it just depends on what type of movie you're trying to tell.
Yes.
But it goes also to media. It goes to comics.
Yeah, and with that being said, I don't want to see a black Superman, because it was originally a white character. It was originally written for being a white character. He was originally a white character, and therefore to change him black insults me in a way that you're trying to appease me by saying, okay, fine, we're going to make him black. No, I don't want your so-called gift. I want it original. Yeah. If you want to do a black Superman, do a story, expand on Icon, because that's really the black Superman. Do a story on do something with Blue Marvel. Those are original black characters. I want to see original black character. I don't want you to blackface these characters just to say that he's a black character. Now, no, I don't like that at all.
But Darren, like real quick, you can have both. So why can't you have Val Zod from that Earth where he's the president?
Different. There you go. That's the point I was about to say.
That's why I had to correct myself.
Still have the guy that Icon, and still have Icon.
Yeah. Like you can give me Calvin Ellis.
No.
Yeah,
Icon is originally a black character. He was never a white. He was never created as a white character.
So was Calvin Ellis.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they created a black version of Superman in a different universe, in a different timeline, because Superman technically now is a moniker. Superman's an alien. Let's get that clear. Let's just get this out the way. Superman's an alien. Yes, he was drawn as a white guy because of the timepiece that he was drawn in. However, Superman is a moniker. So in that universe, that particular Superman landed in a totally different place and became the president of the United States as a black man. Cool. Like it, love it. Let's go forward with it.
Yep.
But it's in a totally different dimension, totally different Earth.
That's why I had to correct my earlier statement about it not being Superman, it being Clark Kent specific.
That's
it's
right.
all about for me. It's all about the original roots of that character.
And then I also want to real quick. I want to actually this whole little bit real quick. Superman was not a white man drawn by white guys. He was a Jewish man drawn by two Jewish guys to represent being a stranger in a strange land because they were living here in America and were still considered outsiders.
Okay, but he wasn't created and described as a Jewish character.
He was created and described as an alien come to a strange place and didn't fit in with anybody around him.
Who grew up in Kansas.
Okay.
Who grew up in middle America.
Kansas. Yeah,
I would be all for seeing a Calvin Ellis movie.
So
I would have no problem seeing a Jon Stewart movie.
I'd love it.
It's that same vein. Like
I want Idris Elba to play Jon Stewart. I'm calling it now.
You have your Hal Jordan, right?
That would be
your
Thank you, Stephen. I appreciate that comment because that's true. That's where I'm coming from with it. You know, all ethnicities should be afforded an original character.
Absolutely,
and you are correct. And
Superman's origins. No matter how and no matter what universes you want to grab him in differently, he was originally a white character. Period. There's no getting around that, because when you circle back, when you're talking about the history of that character, guess what? You're gonna be talking. Let's say you're talking about that black Superman in a different universe. When you're talking about the history of that character, you're gonna go all the way back to its originality to say, oh yeah, he was a white character. So how can he? So where did they get this idea that he's black now? And then you got to channel through all of that, and then come to the point where he is right then and there. No, that's not what I'm.
So Derek, I agree with you. I'm gonna tell you, dude. As a black man, I agree with you. I'm with you. You want your own original things. I'm not saying you can't have that, but I'm saying you can have both, and that should be okay as well. Is all I'm saying. It's okay to feel the way that you feel. I'm not knocking that. I'm not diminishing that. You want your original characters, you cool. Let's make Blue Marvel as big as we can on screen.
Yeah.
We did it with Black Panther. We can do it with another character. That's cool. But
and
I can also have Calvin from the I can still have him too. We can have
Jon Stewart.
That was going to be my next question. What's the difference, Derek, between Hal Jordan or a Jon Stewart movie? They're both Green Lanterns. One's a white guy. The first Green Lantern was Hal Jordan, I believe. And then
perspective.
Because that's the whole point. And Hal and
first Green Lantern wasn't.
Jon Stewart originally introduced was a black man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Calvin Harris.
It's all about the perspective and where their upbringings.
That's what he's saying. That's literally what Eric is saying. The Green Lantern when he first came out was a white dude. Right. Then they gave the powers of the Green Lantern to a black man.
But what they did not do was make Hal Jordan a black man, is what I'm saying.
Right.
And that's what they didn't do that. They didn't do that with the Superman. You have white Clark Kent Superman still existing at the same time as the black Superman.
As that black Superman.
Right. You can have them at the same time.
Right.
Because they're two
different characters. As long as he's not Clark Kent.
Exactly.
Right.
That's always been my thing. Now, if you want, if same like Ricky said, Batman's a moniker. If you want to sit there and
that was Eric, I'll give him his flowers
with someone not named Bruce Wayne and give that a try, I'll give it a shot to watch.
Mm-hmm.
No matter.
They did Batwing, Lucius Fox.
Yeah, Batwing is out there.
Yeah. No, but I'm just saying, like, you want to name him Batman? Forget Batwing or any. You want a new Batman out there, right? Right. And it's going to be a Hispanic guy or whatever it's going to be. I'll give it a shot as long as it's not Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne. Okay.
I vote for Eric Burgess to be Black Batman.
You know,
I'm a read that comic, bro. I'm gonna read it all
Hey
day.
man, I got a couple more crunches to do before I can pull that one off.
you almost a Superman, dude. What you
First
talking about?
Batman without sleeves.
It's a hard conversation to have without, especially in this day and age, because a lot of people will immediately start with the labeling that you're an ism, as I put it, or an is. You know, I'm glad we were able to have a conversation like this. You know, you heard me earlier when they were trying to pull me in, and I was like, I'm not going there.
Like, I'm not doing it
because we've had this conversation off here.
You're right.
Yeah.
Don't do it. You know, it's good to have these conversations. I'm glad we have had this conversation.
And the difference is we all love each other, and I think that makes a huge difference with us. Well, I mean, I put up with two of y'all. I love the rest of y'all.
Putting up with people, I put up with everybody. I can't say I love.
And I think that makes a huge difference in being able to have these conversations like adults. You know,
we know there's no agenda behind the conversation, right? Like we're not accusing anybody of being a particular way. We just have our opinions, and it's. You know, we're able to actually have a conversation about it. Like Derek, no, he my bro. I mean, we just respectfully disagreed until we can come to a conclusion. But that don't stop that man from being my bro.
And a lot of it is subjective. Absolutely, a lot of it's
not at all.
Subjective.
Yeah. Opinions are.
And I mean, I sent to Derek and I sent to Ricky earlier. I wrote up some resolutions for the new year.
Oh, I saw that.
I feel would apply for most in the
I do number 4 on the daily
geek community. So new skills to learn. Number 1, patience.
I mean, that was a hell of a segue, dude.
It saves pockets.
we having a serious love me moment. He like, let's talk about resolutions.
Yeah. Number 2, enjoy a series, even if it is not exactly like the original.
Fuck Halo.
I still got to finish that. I still got to finish Andor.
Real quick, if you change the name and don't make it Halo, it wouldn't have been a bad series. But there's still certain things, just whatever. We're not gonna get into it. Fuck Halo.
If they called it Halo Wars, and it would have been better.
Not even Halo.
He never took his helmet off. You probably would have enjoyed it.
Yeah. Number 3, tolerance to any changes.
This is a conversation for another day. But
number 3, tolerance to any changes to my favorite guy / girl.
Again, fuck Halo. Again, fuck Halo. I'm sorry. There's limits. There's limits.
Don't agree. I don't agree because if you put a mullet on Batman, I'm out. I'm getting these tattoos taken off my body.
Number 4, saving money so I can spend it on better stuff and not all the McFarlane that exists.
Yeah, I do that one on the daily. I check that resolution off on day 1.
I only do the Arkham.
But these are just the new skills to learn. There's also the actual resolutions, which is the first one, which should be for everybody that I know is not in this feed. But if you ever happen to listen to
I can't stand
the
this
Realmhattan projects or are one of those out there, number 1, don't be such a jerk in Hasbro's live feed.
Oh, Eric can't do that. He failed that resolution.
Those people are so bad.
I don't want to hear anything about that. We're not going there. We're not going there.
Full circle. I came full circle last week with the apology. So, Ricky,
did you send it to him though?
Huh?
Number 2.
Did you
never buy a windowless box from Walmart or Target?
That was funny. Oh, it's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get out of that thing.
Much anymore.
Number 3.
I don't buy chugs. I ain't gotta worry about that.
I ain't gotta worry about that, folks. Now I gotta worry about that.
I just see I don't know what we're seeing there, Matt. But what's up, Matt?
Welcome, Matt.
Hey, number 3.
Did he join by accident?
Don't get mad when I miss orders because of the bots.
That Beansy?
Yep.
No, that's my boy
Matt B.
Oh, Matt B. Okay.
I don't know if he joined by accident because he does have a habit of pocket dialing the group a lot.
Oh, he does.
So maybe he joined the link.
That's a very lovely point setup.
That is a lovely
the group. Can you hear me now?
He's talking.
Yes.
Yeah, we hear you a little bit.
Yeah, the poinsettia is talking really well. It's very clear.
It's in the other room on the counter. Sorry,
sentient,
fellas.
I see. Okay.
Don't apologize, Dormammu. Tell him to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, go on.
Number
go on to
four.
four.
Really, this is
Fred
the
gets
last.
number 4.
Body is Lord. Number 4. Don't get mad at every reviewer who gets it wrong.
Yeah, like that shirt he was wearing on the daggone show.
Dude, as soon as I saw that one, I thought of you, Derek.
Put in a cornfield before he starts.
Oh my gosh,
dude! Like he had to put himself in timeout. Look, dude, I knew as soon as I read that one, I thought of you in that T-shirt, dude.
It's December 30th. I promise y'all, that's the last time I'm gonna. Yeah, 2023. Me and Thu gonna be a whole nother relationship.
We're having them on January 6th.
I'm going to send him a shirt and write your name on it, just to see him open it.
Yes.
Wear this one, he says.
Have him wearing a Decepticon shirt that has the word bubble that has what in it.
By the way, my what shirts are coming out next year. I'm just letting y'all know. So.
Hey.
Well, I got one question for you. How much?
Well played.
So what would be your resolutions, guys?
I don't do resolutions, man.
Yeah,
it could be anything.
I'm a party pooper on that one.
I stopped doing resolutions back in 1994.
No more.
See, resolutions fall under the people not doing it to the extreme. Like you should always do small steps. Like I'm sure when Eric decided to get himself into shape and start working out, he didn't go, I'm gonna walk in here in this gym day one. I'm gonna squat 600 pounds and pick up 350 pounds.
But the difference is
you work to it.
I'm gonna wait for New Year's.
Right.
When you have that mentality is I'm gonna wait for New Year's, you're not ready to really do what
but my thing is resolutions are always these big, huge, encompassing things. Nobody makes an actual a very achievable goal as their resolution. The resolution is like if I want to lose 100 pounds, they don't say I want to lose 20 pounds every quarter for this year. What they say is I'm gonna lose 100 pounds, and then they just get stuck on that.
Yeah, they don't make attainable goals.
Yes, you gotta baby step it, and that's the problem. I've always had a resolution, so I've never been a resolutions guy. I'm like, I'm gonna smoke one less cigarette.
You can have a large goal, but also have small incremental goals that lead up to that big goal.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But the resolution would you should always have those goals set out like that.
Daddy, and what does he do?
You said what? Say that again.
Who is Daddy, and what does he do?
Who is Daddy?
That's Kevin.
That's me.
There you go, because it says Daddy as the name.
Well, yeah, that's
you don't remember the movie Kindergarten Cop? Who is your daddy, and what does he do?
Oh yeah.
Boys have a penis, and girls have a vagina.
Yeah, did you just get done talking to someone on a sex cam?
I'm hearing papers. I can't even.
Yeah, you can go ahead and change that, buddy. Because I ain't calling you that. You can go ahead and change that.
Nope, not me. All I hear is you guys yelling.
Hey, you can call me daddy if you want
cutting out.
I mean, no.
I promise you
hey,
I won't.
This ain't that type of show, bro.
For that.
You signed into the wrong one.
Remember, this is a live hangout.
You know what? It's 157 anyway.
Hey,
so
let's not traumatize the children.
Fucking you need to change your name to the child defender up there.
Kind of just popped up. I said, okay. Yeah.
Well done.
What?
Well done.
Yeah.
Nice call back, E. Nice call back, E.
That's what I do.
No.
My resolution's be being bigger, asshole.
Oh, I'm gonna be very quiet on this one compared to
Ralphie just blew my mind a little bit. If you have no resolution, that is a resolution.
Oh, get out of here,
Ralphie. And I'll tell you what, Ralphie, I've never failed that resolution, so I appreciate you, sir.
You also said never go in a stall after Ricky.
Hey, that ain't a resolution. That's just a smart life choice. So you should follow that one, man. I don't go in the stall behind nobody.
That's a survival tip right there.
Nobody wants to sit on a warm toilet seat.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Everybody be like,
y'all got to hear that song.
Hear that song. What song?
There's a song called "Fuck Them Kids."
I bet you Wolfie sings it. I bet you Wolfie knows all the lyrics.
Dude,
I'm gonna look that up then when we're done here.
That's Wolfie's ringtone.
Oh my gosh, Eric, that looks incredible. That came along so well.
Oh, thanks, bud.
Is that the one that you were working on in the bank?
No, heck no.
Oh no, that's the one that you put Harley Quinn in.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, my kids must have knocked something off, and I just found Lego pieces on the floor, so I was just trying to fix it.
Now you gotta take the whole thing apart and start again from the beginning.
Dude, no, I pray to God I don't, because it's just this back end, and if I have to do that, it's gonna stay like this.
Man, it's gonna be a car accident.
This thing was, man.
You just put your Hulk figure smashing it and just leave it like that.
Yeah, it's gonna stay where it's at. That would have been yikes. Oh, no. I just seen pieces on the floor, and I'm like, "What in the world happened here?"
Bleeding Legos.
All right, I'm sorry.
You'll find out in the middle. You'll find out in the middle of the night.
We're at like the 2-hour marker. We wanted to push towards the unaired aspect of the show.
Yeah. Hey, yo, real talk. Hey, I appreciate all the input of everything that everything that was said in here tonight. Definitely appreciate everybody's back and forth with it. And Delano, I appreciate you coming in and giving that insight the way you did. Yeah. So I mean, everybody had. I mean, all of us, got our opinions.
Dude, I'm just glad I could help you out, bro. I'm glad to be here for that last 5 minutes.
Yeah, but anyway, I like that everybody else that was in here from the beginning. I like
just
that,
like a white man to swoop in at the end and take credit for shit. Look,
right. Came in like the fifth Beatle. But
I told you go unaired.
I'm more like the 9th nerd on this.
Just ready to hit that button like Gort.
I appreciate everybody coming out tonight.
Yeah, I love all y'all, man, and I love the fact that we can talk like this with each other.
Y'all. Thanks for everybody that came in.
Like I like the fact that we can talk like adults. We're nerds and we talk about crazy shit, but we were talking about some
project show. As I'm talking and Ricky's talking over me, I was doing the outro. Thank you, Ricky.
Okay, well, I didn't know you were doing an outro because you started talking while I was talking, but okay. You're welcome, Eric.
There will be a new show next week for the Realmhattan project. We'll be coming back for the new year. Watch ETR on Mondays. Breaking the mold. I'm not breaking the mold. I still can't get them out of my head. Figure banging and shelf gravy alternating Wednesdays.
Good thing I didn't interrupt you while you got it wrong.
And thank you everybody for being on tonight, and everybody in the chat. It was a good night. Peace out, everybody.
Good talk. We'll see you out there.
Hello.
Say it with me now.
Dude asked about the trip. Did y'all see his last comment? He said a regular white saver. Am I right?
Oh wow!
What happened to Danny?
Still showing his live there.
That's cool.
It'll come out. It'll end.
It'll come out. Yeah.
I mean, we hope so.
If I hit end broadcast, it'll end.
Yeah.